be trying to persuade my audience to adopt a dog from a shelter instead of buying them from a breeder. I'm touching on four main points, which are shelter life for dogs, the harmful act of breeding, how you can help, and the main benefits of adopting from a shelter. Around 3.7 million dogs will be euthanized each year because they are not adopted by a family from the shelter. Many people don't get dogs from shelters because they're not purebred, which is ironic because 25% of dogs in the shelter are purebred dogs. There are around 70 million cats and dogs that are homeless in the United States, the number could be cut down if people would adopt more animals from this shelter. This would also cut down on the strain that the animal shelters have for feeding all their animals and providing them with the proper health care. Only 20% of Americans have said that they have adopted from a shelter before. Next, I'm going to be talking about the harmful act of breeding. Puppy mills, which is where a lot of the animals bred live, are a really bad condition for dogs, and they often produce a lot of dogs that are unhealthy because they don't get the vaccinations they need when they're young, and they don't get the amount of food and water that they need, and they're also overcrowded, so disease spreads really quickly. The people that run these really only care about the money they're going to make, and they don't really care about the well-being of the dog and what family it goes to. Incest breeding is encouraged in the dog world, and it causes a lot of genetic problems that would not arise if this was not overdone. If people would just breed the dogs properly, then these animals will be a lot healthier. Traits that are developed through generations are harming the dogs. As example of pugs, they have the bulging eyes, and the breeders breed them too much, and they breed them for these traits that they want them to have for the customers to want to like them, and it causes the pugs more harm than good. But the breeders don't care about that. They don't care if their dogs that they're breeding go blind. And bulldogs also have problems with the size of their heads. Their mother can't really have them naturally a lot of times because they're so big. But the breeders don't care about the health of their dogs. They only care about the amount of money they're going to make from the people buying the dogs. Tail docking is also done by a lot of unauthorized breeders, and there's really no reason for tail docking anymore. It's just for the aesthetic and the look for it that they care about, and they often do it without anesthesia when the puppies are very young, which is just really cool. Next, I'm going to be talking about how you can help. Adopting from a shelter can save a life of a dog, and it can also enrich your life after you buy a dog and get a dog from the shelter. This can help to stop the support of overbreeding and help to stop things such as this that are really cruel to animals. Shelter adoption helps to lessen the burden on shelters from the overpopulation. They can then feed more animals that they would not be able to. If more animals are leaving the shelter, then they can take more in. It's a cycle. Next, I'm going to be talking about the benefits of shelter adoption. One of the main benefits of shelter adoption is that you save a lot of money. Usually when you get a dog from a shelter, it's only a couple $100 at the most, and they are spayed or neutered if they are old enough, usually. And they come with flea medicine and their deworming pills and their vaccinations up to date, as opposed to a breeder, which costs up to thousands of dollars if you get a purebred dog. Sometimes they don't have their vaccinations, and they don't come with medicine, and sometimes they're very unhealthy. Also, the staff shelter will help you decide what kind of dog you need and the advantages and disadvantages of having a certain dog, instead of just selling you any dog just because of the money and making money and profit for themselves. The animals are also likely to be house trained if they come from the shelter, which will save you a lot of hassle later on. I know that a lot of people have issues training their dogs. And they'll probably be socialized also since they've been with a bunch of dogs. And this will help later on when you want to take them out and things. As you can tell, buying your dog from a shelter is the better alternative than getting it from a breeder. And it will not only save a dog's life, but it will stop the overpopulation and overbreeding of other animals.